Every economic bubble begins with a promise. A promise that this time is different. A promise that old rules no longer apply. A promise that technology has rewritten reality itself. People don't rush into bubbles out of greed alone. They rush in because they believe they're witnessing progress. And right now, that belief has a name: artificial intelligence. But AI is only half the story. The other half is something far older, far heavier, and far more dangerous: debt. And history shows us that when revolutionary technology collides with extreme debt, the outcome is rarely what people expect. Let's start with a simple truth. Every major technological revolution changes the world. But almost every technological revolution also produces a financial bubble. Not because the technology is fake, but because human expectations explode faster than reality can deliver. This has happened before, many times, and it's happening again. In the 1840s, railways were the future. They transformed trade, travel, and empires. Investors poured money into railway stocks, believing growth would never end. The technology was real. The tracks were built. The trains ran. But the bubble collapsed anyway. Why? Because too much money chased too few profits. Sound familiar? Fast forward to the late 1990s. The internet was revolutionary. And it truly changed everything. But investors didn't just buy innovation. They bought dreams. Companies with no revenue, no profits, and no clear business model were valued as if success was guaranteed. When reality arrived, the bubble burst. The internet survived. Most investors didn't. This is the first lesson history teaches us. Bubbles are not about fake technology. They're about unrealistic expectations. And today, expectations around AI are enormous. AI is being described as a productivity miracle, a replacement for labor, a solution to slow growth, a cure for economic stagnation. In some ways, these claims are justified. AI will increase efficiency. AI will automate tasks. AI will reshape industries. But here's the danger. Markets are pricing AI as if it will deliver perfect outcomes quickly, smoothly, and universally. History tells us that no technology ever has. Now let's introduce the second force shaping this cycle: debt. Never in modern history have governments, corporations, and households carried so much debt at the same time. Debt isn't inherently bad. It fuels growth, but debt changes everything when conditions shift. And conditions are shifting. For over a decade, money was cheap. Low interest rates encouraged borrowing. Governments ran deficits. Corporations refinanced endlessly. Asset prices inflated. Debt felt painless. But debt is only comfortable when growth is strong and rates are low. When that balance breaks, debt becomes a trap. History shows us this again and again. In the 1980s, Japan believed it had discovered a permanent growth model. Technology, real estate, and financial innovation fueled massive optimism. Then the bubble burst. But what followed wasn't collapse. It was stagnation, a lost decade. Then debt prevented reset. Growth slowed. Productivity disappointed. Japan didn't fail, it froze. This is the second lesson history teaches us. High debt doesn't always cause crashes. Sometimes it causes paralysis. And that may be the greater risk today. Now consider where we are. AI is advancing rapidly. Markets are euphoric. Governments are deeply indebted. Interest rates are higher than they've been in years. That combination is rare. And history warns us to pay attention when rare combinations appear. Here's where things become uncomfortable. Technology does not automatically solve debt problems. AI can boost productivity, but productivity gains take time. They require adoption, training, infrastructure, adjustment. Markets, however, move instantly. That gap between financial expectation and economic reality is where bubbles form. During the dot-com era, investors believed productivity gains would arrive overnight. They didn't. It took another decade for the internet to truly transform profitability. The same may happen with AI, not because AI fails, but because transformation is slower than belief. And while the world waits for productivity miracles, debt keeps growing. Governments borrow to stabilize economies. Companies borrow to survive competition. Households borrow to maintain living standards. Debt fills the gap between promise and performance. Until it doesn't. This brings us to the most dangerous idea in modern finance: the belief that policymakers can always prevent pain. After 2008, central banks intervened aggressively. After 2020, they intervened even more. Markets learned a lesson. If things go wrong, someone will step in. This belief reduces fear, and reduced fear fuels bubbles. History calls this moral hazard, and moral hazard has consequences. Because intervention works best when debt is manageable. When debt is excessive, intervention loses power. Rates can't fall forever. Money printing has limits. Confidence can't be forced. History shows us that once trust weakens, policy becomes reactive rather than preventive. So what does a bubble look like before it bursts? History gives us clues. People stop asking hard questions. Valuations detach from fundamentals. Narratives dominate analysis. Risk is dismissed as ignorance. We're seeing these signs today. Not everywhere, not in every asset, but enough to matter. Now let's talk about AI specifically. AI will absolutely change how businesses operate. But most productivity gains will go to a small number of winners. History shows that early investors often overestimate how widely profits will be distributed. In the internet era, a few giants captured most value. Many competitors vanished. AI is likely to follow the same path. That means many AI-branded companies will disappoint, even if AI succeeds. This leads to the most misunderstood truth about bubbles. You can be right about the future and still lose money. Railways changed the world. Electricity changed the world. The internet changed the world. But timing, valuation, and debt decided who survived. So what should investors and viewers learn from this? Not fear. Not pessimism, but humility. Economic history punishes certainty, especially when certainty is built on optimism alone. The next economic bubble may not crash suddenly. It may deflate quietly. Returns may underperform. Growth may disappoint. Markets may stagnate rather than collapse. That outcome is just as dangerous because it erodes wealth slowly, invisibly. History teaches us one final lesson. The most dangerous bubbles are not fueled by lies. They are fueled by partial truths. AI is real, innovation is real, progress is real. But when belief outruns reality, correction becomes inevitable. The question isn't whether AI will shape the future, it will. The question is whether today's prices already assume perfection. History suggests that whenever markets price perfection, disappointment follows. If you want to understand money, risk, and power, don't ask what's new, ask what's familiar. Because cycles don't repeat, but they rhyme. And history has been whispering warnings for centuries. The only question is whether we're listening.